Hello. So what is going on, guys? It's Triple G here, back with another Godfall video, and in today's video we're going to be going through my bleed build. Now this build absolutely crushed the new content, crushed the DLC, and crushed the Lightbringer content as well, and we didn't change anything from the base game. So this is the original build that absolutely smacked back then, and despite the fact that they have changed a couple of items, it still absolutely crushes the content now. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel or join us over on Twitch. We stream 5 times a week, and otherwise let's get straight into this video. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the gear itself. Now the gear itself is really important, particularly the primary weapon. So the primary weapon that we are going to be looking for is the Sword of Courage. Whenever you inflict bleed, shoot up to 2 projectiles that each deal 801 physical damage to an enemy. Weapon techniques inflict ailments. Now this is the real key piece of information here. So we're going to be using our northern technique as much as we can. This will mean that we will apply bleed as much as we can, and then whenever we are applying bleed, these projectiles are going to be going off, and you are going to clear rooms with this skill. It is super effective against mobs, and if you are only using it against a single target, those projectiles will still shoot up and hit that same enemy again. So it is very effective indeed. Look out for weak point damage, ailment power, and crit chance here. This will give you the most effective damage. In terms of a secondary, you can go with whatever weapon you want. Does not matter here. We are going to be primarily using the same weapon all the way through, and that is the Sword of Courage. Then we have an amulet here of the Betrayer. So instead of dying, you would be reduced down to 1 health. This is really nice for not dying while out in the content. However, if you want to, there is some new amulets, and the Sunsteel's Crest is really good. Draining the enemy's strength whenever you hit a cursed enemy. Drained enemies deal less damage, and your damage is increased for 20 seconds. Now I have a pretty nice one here that has ailment power, weapon technique damage, and longsword damage, which will work really well here. So if I am playing in areas that I don't care so much about dying, I could switch to this new amulet and it will do very well. Then in terms of the charm, we're going to go with the Lion Talisman. Whenever you perform a critical hit, gain 6% weapon technique charge and 29% weapon technique charge speed for 10 seconds. Then we're going to go with the Lion Talisman. Whenever you perform a critical hit, gain 6% weapon technique charge and 29% weapon technique charge speed for 10 seconds. So this is going to be playing into the fact that we are going to be critting a lot, and that will bring us our northern techniques and our weapon techniques back faster. This will then in turn make us apply bleed faster, and then in turn apply more damage. So it all kind of works together nicely. Then we're going to get the Dawn Lord's Signet Ring. Now this is whenever you defeat an enemy with a takedown, the enemy explodes, inflicting bleed and dealing 3,377 damage to nearby enemies, meaning that we are making everybody bleed, which will make our weapon projectiles go off, and we will do more and more damage. Then we're going to have the Ring of the Worthy. Gain the Blessing of Luck whenever you defeat a marked enemy. Now this is really nice, because this will mean that we up our crit chance, up in our crit chance, blah de blah. Then we have the Archons Tier. Now this was actually reduced in the latest patch, but we still have a 25% critical hit chance and 112% critical hit damage. Finally, we have the Plague Penand, which will give us 40% ailment power and 62% damage for each type of ailment on the enemy, which means we're making everybody bleed all the time, and therefore they are going to be taking extra damage. Onto the augments then, and we're just going to scan over these pretty simply. So the first one is Evisceration. Gain the Blessing of Power whenever you perform a critical hit. Then we're going to be getting Frostfire, which is 38% critical hit damage during Rampage. The Sacred Flame, which will give us adjacent augments, grant us an additional 70% might, which gives us more damage. Then we have the Surety. Now the Surety is critical for this. Whenever you hit an enemy with your northern technique, expose the enemy's weak points and deal an additional 76% weak point damage the next time you hit a weak point. This is a very strong augment here. Then we got Divine Conduit, which will give us an extra 50% Archon Fury charge speed for 10 seconds whenever we are hit. We are going to gain 30% damage for each type of ailment on the enemy. Gain 50% Archon Fury charge speed for 10 seconds whenever we hit a weak point. Entropy again, whenever we activate Archon's Fury, shoot up to 3 projectiles in the air, dealing nearly 10,000 physical damage to an enemy. And finally, Lucid's Vision. Restore 51% health whenever you hit an enemy with your shield. Then we're going on to the skills. So whilst we won't be going into detail, here is a chance for you to pause the video and make sure you've got those skills spec'd in. Obviously, might, critical hit damage, takedowns, breaching, all of these are really important. This is a damage dealing class, so we want as much damage as we can do. In terms of the playstyle, it is really simple. If you have your northern technique active, you want to be using that as much as possible, and using your southern technique as well to recharge that northern technique, using the takedowns using R3, and just be going in and doing a ton of damage. The more people around, the more people you will damage, and you will cut down bosses and or mobs like they're not even there. I did the final boss of the DLC first time and we just chain walked them all the way through. Bleed is an exceptional build, and with paired with these weapons and augments and skill tree, you will absolutely crush anything that you come across in Godfall. Guys, that is it for today's video. If you have enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel or join us over on Twitch. We stream 5 times a week, and otherwise I'll catch you on the flip.